Oh, live. Man, I haven't done one of these in ages. So let's see how these go. I'm going to try to invite, if anybody's joining, I've got to figure out how to invite somebody, invite people. There we go. Oh, I saw him. So everybody bear with me. I haven't done live in like probably since the start of COVID, year and a half. We're going Vega. Cool. Give that a second. Casa Caribe PR. Hey, what's
What's
up?
up, Chris?
Yo, dude. Okay, I can't believe that it actually worked out that efficiently. I was saying, like, I think the last time I did a live was when you and I did one at the start of COVID, before all of our lives changed.
I know. But good to see you, bro. Long time.
Absolutely, man. So, everybody that is watching, this is Augusto Vega. We are going to chat about breath work, breath training, apnea, hold downs, CO2, and just ramble. So with that said, I think people can post questions. I don't know how to see those questions. We'll just, I guess, figure that out as we go. So for everybody that's joining us, thank you. I first want to say, Augusto, your work has been, the work I have done with you and learned from you has been very influential in how I approach and also teach breath work. So I want to thank you for that, and to let people know that you have your survival apnea programs available in the Surf Athlete app. So anybody, if you are intrigued, you can check out the Surf Athlete app and check out Augusto's work. And you are also available for personal hire online, or if people are in Bali, they can hit you up and do some work as well. So, dude, welcome. How's things? Living the Bali dream, I imagine.
Yes, I guess I was lucky enough to be in Bali when lockdown last year started. And having been a nomad for most of the last 17, 18 years, finally I found myself settled somewhere that has proved to be a great home. I've made great connections, started new friendships, and I can definitely see myself staying here for a long time. And on top of that, this is a place where what I have to share with people is very valuable for many. You know, there's a lot of ocean enthusiasts, surfers of all levels, people getting into spear fishing, beginner surfers, intermediates, advanced, and whenever you have conversations or someone joins a workshop, I always find that I feel super grateful to have something of value for them. So it's amazing to be here.
2 points on that. 3, Bali's epic. Best decision ever that you made, staying there through the pandemic. Second question, have you had Bingen pretty empty, or has it actually remained crowded? And then third, dude, I think third, beginners and intermediates, I think there's so much room for growth and development for them to simply become aware of some fundamentals of breath work. And so I saw a lot of that when I was living in Bali, that you get such an influx of new surfers that aren't ocean savvy or aware, and also don't have breath training or awareness of that to deal with stressful scenarios. So I'll let you run on that. But first off, Bingen, have you had it empty?
Truth is, I think Bingen is an amazing wave, but for the nature of who I am and how I like to surf, generally speaking, it's a very tight takeoff.
Yeah.
And normally I prefer like more chilled out breaks or just different style of surfing. However, friends that are Bingen fans often come to me and like, bro, I had it me and 4 guys out there, or me and 2 guys out there. I rode 40 barrels today, so empty Bingen has been a reality for many. For the Bingen fans that are chasing it, they found their amazing window for sure.
Empty Bingen, empty deserts, empty G-land. Anyways, man, it's a good time to be in Indo.
100%. In my case, I hadn't surfed Ulus in years. It just got too crowded, the bukit too hectic. To get in and out of the bucket, impossible. And suddenly Ulus became my go-to, you know? It'll be like where I surf the most and where I have the like the most amazing memories of the past 2 years. I was like, how the hell did that happen, you know?
Yeah. I
And
saw some photos not too
sorry,
long ago of you at Outside Corner.
yes, outside became like my go-to. Now, whenever I had the right tides in the morning, and
Yeah.
we'll surf it with a crew of 4 or 5 guys, and everyone knows each other, you know, like calling each other on waves, like priceless, you know?
That's awesome. Well done. And so segueing back into, so you do a lot of work, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Like I know you've worked with a lot of the Bali-based pros. Beginners, so let's say you get a beginner, man. What
Yeah,
is, if it's one of these generalized questions that irritates any type of practitioner, right? Because it's hard to chunk things into just one thing. But what is one thing that you really wish most beginners would at least be aware of? Is it a certain type of exercise? Is it a certain understanding? What do you see often has like the biggest relevance aha moment for this kind of beginner spectrum when they start getting introduced to breath work?
yeah. Okay, so first of all, the way I found myself articulating lately is like everyone should be aware that the body, I like to call this, the body has like 3 captains. One is the body in itself that sort of knows what to do and can take care of you in moments. The other one is the mind that likes to think a lot, make plans, speculate, make decisions, or lose it. And the other one is the breath. So depending on different scenarios, each of these 3 could be actually the captain of the ship. So within my work, my courses, what I share with people, I help people to start realizing this connection. How sometimes you can let your body take care of things and trust your body. Bro, you've got this. And you teach the mind to trust the body, and you teach the breath to work for the body. Whilst in other moments, you know, like we work a lot on helping people to build up self-awareness. So suddenly you notice, hey, my mind is getting worried, my body is feeling super anxious. Wait a second, breath can help me here. And then you know you breathe in certain ways, you can decide to bring like a vibe, an energy of calmness into you.
Sure.
You know, so that is the main thing I would like a beginner to be aware of. That they should know that within us, we all possess a great number of very powerful resources that most of us go through life never tapping into.
That's powerful, man. And that's baseline shit. You should be teaching 4 to 6 year olds this stuff, you know? So, like, you know what I mean? Like you see the photos and the memes on social media of like a room full of like 5-year-olds meditating. It's the truth. Like start giving like, this is baseline physical awareness. You have a body, distinctions of one thing influences the other. It's brilliant, man. Like, and I think one thing that I think is powerful about surfing, sport in general, but especially surfing, is this, it can be an entry point for a lot of people to first start having this type of awareness of the interconnectedness and interrelation of mind, body, breath, awareness. For some people, it's the first entry point they've ever had of even like learning how to control their breathing, learning what a stress response is and how they can start controlling their own physiology. So the whole, I think it's an interesting segue.
I have a couple of great examples of transformational moments, you know. So one is this guy, and he came on a course, no intermediate surfer, but he told me, bro, like, you know what? I panic very often. And as soon as I panic in my surf session, the session is over. I just catch the next white water to the shore, and that's it. And he came on a course, and he's going through the exercises, and I'm like, he comes out, he's a little bit like frustrated because he's not getting it. And I know that there is just so much I can talk to you about this, no? In a way, you need to figure it out by yourself. So my reply was sometimes a little bit cold. I'm like, bro, repeat.
Yeah.
And well, truth. Couples weeks later, he comes back to me and I'm like, bro, I'm holding my breath for 5 minutes. And I was like, okay, great. Now tell me, have you noticed a difference in your surf? And he told me, absolutely. Okay, what? What have you noticed? I noticed that during wipeouts, out of habit, I used to blow all the air out.
Yeah, it's
because of course it's
crazy.
annoying and the water comes up the nose, like it's uncomfortable. And so, I mean, it's okay to protect yourself by blowing a little bit of bubbles. But if by habit you just blow all your air out, suddenly you create a negative pressure within you plus the water pressure. It makes very uncomfortable sensations that lead to emotions of panic, anxiety super
Yeah,
quick. So
yeah,
he suddenly realized, oh my God, I was blowing all the air out on every single wipeout. Of course, of no surprise, every time he arrived to surface, he was desperate, swimming for his life. So for him, the transformational moment was becoming aware of what he was doing and learning how to control it, and
mm.
immediately translated to more enjoyment of his surf. That is one of the
Key
anecdotes.
takeaway:
A key
don't
takeaway.
blow out your air before you go underwater, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the we ended up seeing quite often on a lot of trips was a lot of guys holding their breath for their entire wave. Like they get up to their feet so tense, like just holding their breath while they surf, and then relax, breathe, learn how to take a breath before you got to go underwater.
yeah, makes a big difference.
Mm.
Also, people realizing that even though most breathing specialists would say you need to breathe through your nose, you need to use your diaphragm, it's the only way to activate the chill out mode. I tell you, if you are lying flat on a board, you have most of your body weight, like putting pressure on your respiratory system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whenever you inhale with your diaphragm in that position, you are pressing against guts that are pressurized by the board plus pressurized by your weight. You're making a sandwich of guts that builds up a lot of pressure within. So let's say a diaphragmatic breath whilst lying on a surfboard is going to build up pressure, which builds stress. Like it
Mm-hmm.
makes your breathing more, require more effort.
Yep.
Whilst um, when you're on a surfboard and you just want to get the job done, you want to get through the next one, plus you want to breathe with ease, because breathing with ease equals chill out, equals calmness. Like effortless breath means calmness. You might realize that actually to breathe with ease on a board, you might need to be using the top part of your lungs, which
Sure.
in normal life situations is considered a shallow breath. You're hyperventilating, you're not breathing deeply enough. But the reality for a surfer is if you're on your board, this is a part that is free.
Yep.
And if you learn to play with the right intensity, the right amounts, you can still have a calm breath rate that ventilates you very well,
Yes.
but comes together with breathing with ease. That
Mm-hmm.
the mind will relate to, hey, this is not that bad. We are on it. But if you're on your board and you're trying to take very deep breaths, no, as a way to recover or feel better, no, it's not gonna do the trick, no, because of the what's going on in the position of your body and the pressure
Sure.
on your respiratory system. No, it's another little insight I tend to highlight on courses.
It's also so there's a realm of therapy called PRI, Postural Restoration Institute, and one of their big things is the area of the body, the posterior mediastinum. So basically, your posterior rib cage, right? And
Yeah,
if we really start getting diaphragm over pelvic floor aligned, and then we really start getting good excursion of the diaphragm, we actually also start getting a lot of posterior expansion of the rib cage. In a surf posture, because you're compressed on the front, you're extended, so the ribs are an extension and compressed in the back via muscular contraction. The only way the breath can go is basically forward and up. But so then it's the issue that when somebody on dry land doesn't know how to do any 360-degree breath expansion, right? The only place they know how to breathe is to drive vertically with like a scalene inhale. So they don't even have any of that type of awareness. So then when they get into the water and they're forced to essentially only breathe with rib elevation, and they're doing it in a stress state, and they're paddling really inefficiently, it's easy for somebody, if they're not necessarily self-aware, to kind of ramp up the system a bit more of a sympathetic drive than than
Correct.
normal or necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so working on breath awareness, no, getting good at feeling the intensity, the depth of your breath, where it's better to use the nose or the mouth, or the mouth and the nose, or whichever at a given moment, and working on your rib cage and diaphragm flexibility pays off very well. Initially, they can be very subtle progress, even imperceptible. You're like, why am I
Sure.
doing this? Oh, the teacher told me. But people should be aware that actually, if the breath is to be the captain of, wants to have a positive influence on the mind and the body, the best way to send a signal that things are chill or that you are calm, you're in control, is, remember, effortless breath. No, if your breath is effortless, immediately it'll help you calm down, and it'll feel allow your body to reduce tension, your mind to make better decisions. The moment breath becomes a little more elaborate, which is also valid because sometimes we are really tired and we need to ventilate a bit more intensely.
Sure.
That is completely fine. But of course, be aware that as soon as you start to notice comfort starting to enter your system, probably it is time also to start slowing your breath into an easier version, so that mind and body can also follow and recover. No, it's a kind of playing with different energy systems.
Sure. I think it's brilliant, man. I had told you, you and I chatted briefly before we hopped on live, and I told you that I had a nasty neck injury like a week ago. So for those that don't know, like I've had an ongoing neck thing, flared. It's a cervical C5, C6 disc issue. I was getting nerve issues into both arms, predominantly right. So like a serious cervical trauma. Day one, I couldn't be vertical. Being vertical was actually too much axial load through my spine to like, I had to lay on my fucking back all day. But just the sympathetic drive and the muscular contraction of my body going into essentially spasm. All I could do most of the day was lay on my back on a foam roller and just try to start calming down my breath and getting back to more of a diaphragmatic driven breath, because the system was in such a stress state and so much anterior neck tension that it had totally changed all of my muscular resting posture. And so again, like I'm just alluding to this, that I think people sometimes underestimate the power that our breath can have on the nervous system as a whole. So me being able to regain breath and get some tensions to release and get my diaphragm working and get these scalenes to kind of release, and then starting to chill the system, totally started to downgrade the actual nerve tension and pain. Yep. So yeah, it can be powerful if people would just even take the time via your program or a consult. Come on, people, go check it out to learn some basic breath work. So yeah, I think it's epic. You mind if I throw a question at you, dude? We took some questions the other day, and I think a couple of these are great. So Lucy Shorts. So I'm going to read you her question. I'm going to give you my response to her, and I just want you to run with it. Cool? Okay. So she says, am I supposed to feel panic, chest pain, fear, and other negative stuff during breathwork exercises? Then she goes on to say, training anything is inevitably comfortable, but what is the pain threshold? And then she goes on with a bit more. She said, why does it induce such a panic response? And what I told her was that a lot of breath work is awareness and also working on the mental capacity or the mental durability and being familiar with the innate physiologic stress response. Once you start holding your breath, CO2 goes up, you have alarm signals that are physiologically inherent with your body. So I told her that a lot of breath work is starting to become more familiar with these responses and being able to relax and expect some of these responses, and over time starting to dampen that.
Yeah. No, it's a great answer and also a great question. No, it happens a lot. So my way to contribute would be the following. So as part of what I teach, I'll ask someone, hold your breath. And the person will hold the breath. And a few seconds later, or a bit longer, depending on who that person is, eventually the person decides to breathe again. No, because they felt discomfort. if you ask them to make it a bit longer, maybe that mild discomfort could eventually become anxiety, panic, and then the person breathes again.
Mm.
And then I will give them some coaching points. Okay, this is your homework during the breath hold. During the start of the breath hold, your body and mind are still unchallenged. So that is called the relaxation phase of a breath hold. No, there is no pain, no discomfort, body is still unchallenged. So the homework is figure out a way to make that relaxation phase last longer. These are some tricks some people use. And the person, of course, starts a breath hold with a homework, and most of the time they manage to lengthen that relaxation phase.
Sure.
Then inevitably discomfort starts to onset. Now, in many cases, the habit of reaction to discomfort during a breath hold is, oh my God, here it comes, Jesus Christ. And if you don't let them breathe, eventually they're going to feel like what they call pain, discomfort, panic, anxiety. Why the hell am I doing this? This is not for me, you know? So what tends to happen is some people could get to the conclusion that this is who I am. I get very anxious during breath holds. This is not for me. This is not a type of training I do. Now, let's go back to the start. I need to give you an additional trick. Now, first you go back, you practice your relaxation trick. Now, when the body is starting to feel these sensations of discomfort, pain, that can lead to fear, panic, anxiety, it doesn't mean that the body is about to break. The body can endure a lot. The body is very tough. However, not every mind is ready to endure with that discomfort. So I'm going to give you some tools that you can use to shield your mind, from its habitual way of reacting. So I'll tell you, okay, your first trick is to stay relaxed. Choose from this list of tricks. Your second homework is to pay attention to when the pain starts to appear, but before you let the pain break you, make you lose control, you're going to apply another trick. And you're going to see what happens. Most of the time, within a very short space of time, people figure it out. And then they open their eyes to the fact that, oh my God, my body felt the pain, felt the discomfort, but I noticed how putting my mind in another point of focus that makes me physically stronger allowed me to tap into my physical toughness. Oh, this is cool. I want to practice this. So with that, what we are creating is we are raising awareness on the person that is practicing, in that their life experience is not so flat. And with that, I mean, it's basically within you, we have not just one flat list of options of how you should be, but with the right guidance, you can realize, oh, dude, this is just a door. Let's open it. And you open that door, and inside that door, you have so many tools you can use to start changing your habitual ways of reacting to life. In this case, stressful moments in the ocean, stressful moments during a breath hold. And when you start to discover, open your eyes to all these amazing tools that exist within us, then you realize, oh my God, this is awesome. I want to start figuring out how to translate the practice I do laying on bed, laying on the pool, and translate it to the ocean.
Sure.
Of course, in a course, maybe I see someone, the person looks super fit, and I can tell, oh, your body could probably take a 5-minute breath hold. Okay, but maybe their mind is not ready yet.
Yeah.
So if I somehow force that person to endure a 5-minute breath hold without the right software, I'm going to break that person, and that person probably will never come back and will be against any type of breath work.
Sure.
But if instead I tell this person, hey, actually, okay, show me a breath hold. How was the level of discomfort? Oh, it was mild. Okay, let's do an exercise that exposes you to moderate discomfort. Okay, great. Okay, this is your working zone. This is your training zone. It is very important to expose yourself to the right level of challenge intensity to allow your body and mind to evolve at the right speed. If you try to expose one of them to too much, too quickly, then results might not appear so evidently.
It's efficient stress loads, so you adapt. And in this case, you're trying to adapt both physiologically, CO2 tolerance, et cetera, but also mentally to
Yeah,
handle so it is, in the gym, people are often going after just physiologic adaptation, whereas this is really intertwining both. So it's just like figuring out the proper working loads and variables for whatever training exercises they're doing. It's the same thing for breath training.
yeah,
Expose somebody too hard. I'm not going to take a newbie and have them do 10 sets of 10 reps of German volume training, kettlebell swings, and just fucking murder them. It's the last time they'll ever be in the gym.
correct.
Surf Morocco, I think it was, you posted something about what about the pressure point. I don't know what you mean by what about the pressure point. Do you know what that implies, Augusto?
No, no,
I
no,
don't,
not
I
really.
don't, yeah, neither do I. He says, Surf for Earth, increasing CO2 and hypoxic tolerance. You're absolutely right, man. I
Yeah,
didn't know I could scroll. Yeah, local surf Morocco. How about the pressure point? That all changes then. Maybe he means underwater pressures and various lung volumes. But if you want, give us a message and let us know what you actually mean. Lucy Shorts, you're welcome for answering your question. I hope that helps. I want to jump off of what you just talked about. So when you introduced me to your rendition of the breath hold journey, and again, for those of you that want to learn, go into the Surf Athlete app, check out the Survival Apnea program, and he teaches the breath hold journey. I now teach that to people. That alone, that simple understanding, no tricks, no mental relaxation tricks, nothing. Just the simple awareness of what the physiologic responses are going to be in the process, that alone, I've seen it very often. It usually at least almost doubles somebody's breath hold. Just that simple awareness of kind of what to expect. Obviously, not everybody. Some people are still freaking out by the physical responses and need to go with more of the relaxation techniques that you mentioned. But that simple awareness of what's happening, what to expect. I know this is coming. It is safe. My body's going through this stress response because CO2 levels are rising. This is what the body does. That simple awareness is a game changer, man.
yeah. And and uh, and to, let's say, summarize, what's the point of mastering the breath hold journey? If we were to encourage people to, get involved, is basically it's a structured way that you can use to develop your skill at being present during challenges. No, because when someone is really present in the moment, you can suddenly things slow down. Like things slow down, your decision making is like much more spot on, and you're not gonna make decisions based on speculations, but rather you're gonna deal with each second as it comes. So basically, the breath hold journey is like a formula or a manual, on how to use a breath hold to build your ability to remain present when going through challenges.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. Well said. I'm not even going to add anything to that. You nailed it. Done. Perfect. Good question from Stefano. He actually posted the other day and just reposted. I'm very curious if there's specific correlations between breath work and asthma due to external factors that impact the lungs. Would love to get when he posted the other day, he said, would love to get some insights on breath work in relation with asthma. It's been gone for me for a few years and now it's back. The asthma is back. I've got some
Yeah.
considerations, but I'll let you run with that at the first go, man. What do you reckon? Where's your brain go with
So
breath work and asthma?
so you are aware a lot of what I'm going to share with you. I've learned through like reading the amazing work of Dr. Buteiko. So a lot of what I'm going to share with you comes from books I've read on the subject. And not always, but on many occasions, asthma can be a form of protective response from your respiratory system. What do I mean by this? Well, basically, breath is like a form of nourishment. And we inhale because our body needs oxygen to be alive, and we exhale because the body needs to regulate the amount of CO2 that is left within the body. All right, that's an ideal breath rate, what it does to us. Okay? And if we are breathing with the right intensity, using our noses most of the time, our body is happy. and it's not going to mess around with your breath. However, if we have a lifestyle, habits that tend to speed up our breath rate, consciously or unconsciously. Maybe you're a teacher that spends like deliver speeches for long periods of time without the right amount of pauses. Or maybe there's someone that talks a lot in the office, or you address long meetings. No, in a way that could be a form of overventilation, even though it's talking. No, in a way you are blowing air out of your system very often for long periods of time.
Yep.
And what happens then, CO2, even though it's considered like the smoke, the bad guy, CO2 is just another form of nourishment, but it needs to be in the right levels. So we exhale it because if too much CO2 stays in the system, the pH of the blood gets too acid. If it gets too acid, eventually it can become toxic. The body doesn't work properly. So when CO2 increases through a breath hold, through exercise, the body tells you, please stop, rest, breathe, and recover. Now, the opposite happens when we overventilate. We start flushing out too much CO2, okay? Which the body also doesn't like. Because if we flush out too much CO2, parts of our system are going to get too alkaline. And in this case, let's say the blood. No, the blood gets too alkaline. Think of the blood as, or the bloodstream as a river. No, if the river has the right amount of nutrients, pH, minerals, it could be an amazing place for fish to grow, algae to be, plants to live, etc. But the moment someone throws too much trash into that river, eventually it becomes a toxic place.
Chungu River.
Same is with the bloodstream, you know. So if we are to keep it simple and stick to breath work, like the way you breathe, in a way, will have a very direct effect on the CO2 levels, the pH of your river. So pay attention, because if for any reason you are overventilating, and your body is starting to feel, oh my God, we're getting too alkaline too often. And if you don't correct that, that starts to become a habit. Eventually, your body realizes, how can I help this guy to reduce his overventilation? Wait a second, I can induce an asthmatic reaction. So we're gonna close those bronchioles, and they're going to make it hard for you to breathe. No, it can be one of the reasons why the asthma has come back. Pay attention to lifestyle. A friend of mine, he runs some businesses, lives in Singapore, so he spends a lot of time in rooms with very high air conditioner, which dries the air. And once, after trying to figure out why was he getting so much asthma and suffering high blood pressure so often, we realized that he had an asthma attack after a long meeting. And suddenly it all clicked. Okay, it is during your long phone calls or long meetings that you end up overventilating. That on top of that, the cold air, dry air in an AC room was inducing the body to try to protect him by closing those bronchioles.
Interesting. That's good, man. I don't have much to piggyback off of that. That's actually quite good. I've had one client who has helped his asthma just by the basics of actually starting to do his mouth taping at night, reinforcing proper breathing patterns, CO2 tolerance kind of thing. Mouth taping's amongst a lot of the Buteyko stuff as well. But the book by, he's not Buteyko himself, Patrick Macchione, or Macchione, however you say his name.
Yep.
Who's the Buteyko practitioner. That's a good book that Stefano should probably pick up and read and learn from.
Yeah, the Oxygen Advantage.
That's it. Yeah. And then also just, consider external triggers, like think what it might have changed in your environment. I've had a couple really bad exposures to really shitty mold, and my entire system goes haywire, absolutely haywire. Asthma personally, not so much, but I do know of people that have had mold exposures and started having some really bad kind of asthmatic issues. A good question came in, man, that I'm actually intrigued by because I have no idea. From Surf for Earth, after pushing past diaphragmatic contractions, what are the low O2 sensations people should be aware of that lead up to the hypoxic blackout?
That's an amazing question.
Yeah,
And
good
it's because
question.
it has a very simple answer.
Pass out? Is that it? That's it. Too late, man. Too late.
Yeah, yeah. If you are, well, my advice is for someone that is training, not responsibly, it's I like to refer to the symptoms of low oxygen as they are not symptoms you want to rely on, because when to get like a good hypoxic adaptations, you don't need to push yourself that far.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't need to go that intense, and normally the sensations that you will experience from low oxygen, more than sensations, is your body shutting down. So you're actually getting number. You're starting to detach from reality even more and more. And so rather than sensations, you're starting to get disconnected. And so normally I encourage people not to put themselves too far, and don't even pretend that they are in control of those sensations and can use them as alarms that they should stop the breath hold.
Yeah.
No, it's much better to have a very clear structure plan on pen and paper, and all your training sessions have a smart finish line. And based on your history, what you did at the previous session, you keep repeating the same challenge until you're like, oh, I'm on top of this. I finished this exercise and I am fresh, I am safe. And now I am going to increase this finish line by 15 seconds or by a few meters. And then you start again, no? Rather than trying to rely on the sensation that low oxygen could deliver.
Yeah, be analytical about the process and safe, right? Like if you're going to be in a pool, you need to have some people watching you while you train.
Yeah, 100%.
No, that was a good one, man. That was a good answer. We'll probably take one. Stefano says, "Thank you. You're welcome, bro. Check out the book for sure." Mindy Rosser, cannot deal with mold. Yeah, it's fucking terrible. I can tell within an hour if I've been in a mold room. Like I recently just put my face into an older mattress I had, and like I had a horrible histamine reaction for like 2 days. It was like I just sculled a bunch of like shitty vodka. It was terrible. Casa Caribe PR. Is it a good idea during cardio exercise to hold breath at intervals as a way to train, for example, on a rowing machine? I personally have used this with some people, but it's only in the higher stages of breath work. Like all the basics, breath journey, awareness, CO2 tables, basic apnea stuff, and then I have used various breath holding protocols amongst exercise, but never really intensely. It's more lower intensity, just trying to drive up some CO2 levels, not really doing it super heavy. What do you think, man?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think before you start bringing any form of breath hold into a physical activity, I would say work on the fundamentals. Why? I'll explain. With the fundamentals, you are going to develop many things like breath awareness and breath control. You'll become a lot sharper at watching your breath and adjusting it based on your needs.
Yep.
Self-awareness and control. You're going to become very sharp at starting to read what's going on within your system and address it mentally or through your breath. And so actually, without the need to hold your breath when training, you can make your training sessions even hypoxic or even extremely high CO2.
Yeah.
No, because let's say an example, sprinting sessions. I used to run retreats, and there used to be like this session we used to call lactic liftoff, which was basically building up.
I'd sit out. I'd be like, nah,
bro,
I'm done. I'll see you guys at lunch. Not doing it.
It was building up lactic acid through sprints with reducing periods of rest.
Yeah.
So of course, if you're really giving your 100%, there's going to come a time where your body is genuinely about to collapse.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a weak self-awareness, self-control, etc., as soon as you feel this level of discomfort, you're going to quit. I'm done, you know? But if you are someone that has sharpened the breath control, breath awareness to the next level, before you decide to quit, you're going to start analyzing, hey, legs, how are you doing? Arms, how you're doing? Breath, how you start to read your body in a different way, and actually take your sprinting to a place it's never been before.
Mm.
Of course, I could hold my breath and go for a trot, no? But there is no way I would have been able to sprint at that speed and for that long holding my breath.
Yeah.
So then, so personally, when I had to make choices, I said, you know what? I am going to keep things aside. If I want to go to town on a sprinting session, no, I am going to use the breath awareness and control that I've built in the breath holds and apply there, but that's pure sprinting. Whilst when it comes to the actual breath work, I am going to really focus in taking my mind to the next place, pure CO2 tolerance, pure breathing skill, but I would make sure to take what I am learning in one session and applying it in the other.
Yes. Brilliant. What I've done a lot of is, I mean, I personally do it often still, and a lot of clients, is just more zone 2 kind of cardio, nasal breath only, just to build up that kind of respiratory capacity and some CO2 tolerance. But then one of the biggest things in the gym is if we are doing kind of more intensity training or any type of metabolic work, rather than breath holds, the thing I'm most interested in is how they can maintain their breath rate during an intensive activity and how efficiently and quickly they can then recover it. I tell people that alone, your ability to change the cadence of your breath depending on the physiologic demand. Do I need to increase my breath rate now? Can I keep it here and this discomfort is okay? The ability to kind of fluctuate that, shifting into the different gears of breathing, and then recovering and doing it efficiently. I'm usually often more worried, or I think that stuff is often more relevant in a gym setting rather than doing some like rowing intervals and breath hold work in amongst that. I'm more interested in the capacity and efficiency of it and the recovery of it.
Yeah, 100%. And that comes a lot with not having intentional practice to build your breathing skills, breath awareness, self-awareness, self-control, and making a point in applying it in other type of scenarios.
Yes.
For example, I am always a bit against giving people protocols of how they should breathe in a certain moment. Rather, I give them breathing principles. I'm like, you know what? If you want to ventilate, this works pretty well. If you want to recover and chill, this works pretty well. If you want to inhale deeply, this works pretty well. But you know what? Now you need to take this and apply it in real life.
Yeah.
And so the more you practice, the quicker you'll be able to be on your board, paddling your duck diving wave after wave, and you are playing with nose, mouth, mouth, like full open mouth, pressurized air, adjusting to everything that is happening.
Yeah.
Same goes to you go sprinting or kettlebell swings. For example, what I'm doing now, I've been doing for the last months, I do kettlebell swings, and then I have juggling balls. You know, so I finish the swings, I am like smashed, and I start to juggle the balls, you know. So in a way, if I really want to be good with my hands, my eyes, I realize that I better chill my breath down very quick. And,
that's it. Yeah.
You know, so it is an amazing, it's very simple, but in a way it gives you a task, like a mission, to really put in practice a skill so you can do it. And so it's a way, I hear you.
It's brilliant, man. It's you're requiring a cognitive effort during a physiologic stress load, right? You
Correct.
just finished smashing out kettlebell swings. You just want to like bend over and breathe, not suddenly then needing to like calm down, focus, coordinate, you know, because if we get into heavy scenarios in the surf, it's an intense situation mentally and physically, and you have to be cognitively aware, right? That's when like you see a lot of high level athletes, they're doing all the light touches and stuff in and amongst various interval work, because that's it. It's just it's forcing your brain to coordinate and communicate and interact and process information while your body's in a stress state.
And whilst you're managing your breath, that can help you manage that better. So then you see the interrelation of all the captains, you know, like.
Yep. Legend. Segue question, totally off topic, man. two best restaurants on the book it. Hit me, dude. I've
Oh
I've
my
been
God.
gone for like a year and a half or two now, man. I don't even know if the restaurants we used to hit up all the time are even open still.
Yeah, like okay, I eat a lot. I love it. So if I was to give you, well, the one that is a new one that is like delivering pretty well, has a pretty varied menu, is
Yeah.
Chela,
All right. All
no?
right.
Like no, it's in Bingin, like amazing food. And another place that I love, reason behind is whenever I shoot a good fish, I can drive
Yeah.
straight to it and drop it. I'm like, bro, I'm back at 8 with my crew, and it's and it's shakariki, Japanese. So
Oh, I've never
those
been
are,
there. Yeah. All right.
no, it's beautiful atmosphere, great energy. The owner's a legend. So
Yeah.
those are the first two places that come to mind. Yeah.
Charles Parrott says Shaka Riki. He knows. He must know it, huh? I guess. Have
Oh
you
no, no,
been?
like,
It's it, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Is El Marquette, however it's
yeah.
pronounced, is
No,
that
no,
still
it's
open?
still running. Yeah, it's still running.
Yeah, cool.
Now that I'm living down in Bingin, I'm sticking around to the neighborhood,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
Mercat is still open. Yeah.
Yeah, man, they used to do a lamb shank rendang that was legit, dude. All right. All right, man. Last question. Salty Sea Dog. This is a good question for us to kind of round off of, and then I'll probably hit you with a couple quick fires. And again, everybody, if you're watching, if you want to learn from Augusto, hit him up on one-on-ones, and also he has the full survival apnea program in the Surf Athlete app. Salty Sea Dog, how do I keep my heart rate and anxiety levels down in larger surf? These things kill my breath hold, make me panic, suck the fun out of surfing. We've kind of hit on this a lot. Like, it's essentially learning to utilize breath protocols to help calm mental anxiety, physical stress. But go ahead, man, hit it. What's one big thing Salty Sea Dog could probably start focusing on?
Yeah, like first of all, for example, not because I am teaching this, it means that I am bulletproof and I will never feel anxious or panic. Because we all enter those zones.
Yeah. It's just
But what
different
we want
levels. You know, it's
is
like
different
I tell
levels.
people in surf coaching, like, I'm like, this fear in the back of your head anxiety thing, it's going to be with you for the rest of your life as a surfer. It's just going to come into play at different levels and intensities of surf situations.
Correct. The more, let's say, you practice dealing with it, the better you'll get at it.
Mm.
No, meaning you might find yourself deciding to react different, making smarter decisions, etc.
Yeah.
Now, to build onto this, let's say I go into a session. I haven't been surfing a certain spot for a while, first swell of the season or something in those lines. Maybe my mind is ready, my body is super fit, but I haven't been exposed to that environment in a while. I haven't been exposed to those dimensions in a while.
Mm.
So it is completely normal that I'm going to feel a certain level of anxiety during, like, when I am piling out, when I am waiting for a set. And sometimes it's good to allow yourself to digest, to absorb the experience. No, like allow your senses to get familiar with that level of power. So a good advice, if you notice like you are like experiencing levels of anxiety, panic that are a bit out of control, maybe make a point, you know what, next time there's a big swell on that spot, I am going to just simply watch from the cliff and see how the guys pile out, how they catch a wave, what happens when they get caught by a set, so I am more familiar with that. And then maybe I paddle out without the intention of catching a wave, but just maybe sitting at a safe distance and feeling all this field happen at a closer range. So
Exposure,
right
just
there,
low level exposures and familiarity.
low level exposure, so immediately there you might feel a bit of anxiety, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
Your brain is picking up information even though you're not aware, because you're feeling safe, that you're not gonna get caught. No, you're in a safe spot, as to say it. You can suddenly feel anxiety and you can calm it down with your breath. So it's a milder exposure. And then maybe you pick, you know what, before I surf this wave on a big swell, I'm gonna surf this other one that is like the baby brother. So, and slowly you start to allow your systems not only to be exposed, but also you to start working on your skills. If you notice that it's too much for your skills at the present, respect the journey. No need to rush. No one is pushing you into putting yourself in those situations. And slowly, like with no surprise, remember that we are designed to adapt, we are designed to evolve, you will get there. But it's important to respect the process.
It's a process, man. I will often relate to people, any surf situation, whether they're successful, fail, having difficulty, any surf situation can kind of be broken down to physical capacities, ability to paddle, to breath hold. Can you rescue yourself? Could you swim out if you lose your board? Technical and skill. Do you have the skill to succeed? Do you have the skills required by that wave? And then there's the mental emotional. Do you have the familiarity, the awareness? Do you have the confidence? All those things. People just need to, from an analytical perspective, like, here's this situation. Do I have the things that can support me to essentially be successful? And then it's a matter of plugging in the holes, essentially. What's lacking? You just start building, like you said, exposure, build up familiarity. If breath work is lacking, start doing that so you have more mental confidence going into that situation. Yeah, cool. Good answer. Good answer. Tangential question. So we'll start closing up. Is there anything you want to let people know? Like, hit them with your website, Survival Apnea is your Instagram page. Anything else you want to let people, how can they contact you when they're in Bali to hit you up for a session?
Like to contact me in Bali, the easiest is Instagram, either Survival Apnea or Augusto Vegas. I'm like very responsive there. We can connect. At the moment, I'm teaching a lot in houses. I go to people's houses and teach them in their own pool, or they can come to mine and I teach them here. Also, I am teaching a course tomorrow, the Surf Villas, that you can buy through Drifter store. Cool. And but first of all, like what I teach, what I share with others, it's not only don't think about it as skills to be applied only in stressful situations, but it's actually knowledge and skills that will deepen your whole connection to the ocean and yourself. Mm-hmm. So you're going to go maybe you're going to realize, you know what, I had never stopped to listen to the sounds of the ocean, or feel the water when I'm paddling, or pay attention to the sensations when I am duck diving. Or I had never thought in a wipeout in this way, or never managed my breath and my paddling power and speed. I had never thought of those things. So it's amazing knowledge to deepen your overall connection to the ocean. And how useful it is for each of you is something that sometimes times shows in itself.
Yeah, no, I think you're very right, man. Not blowing smoke up your ass at all, but the things that are taught within the Survival Apnea program, like, they're applicable. They're the higher level stuff, brilliant for hold down work, pool work, like people wanting to directly apply it to surfing. But a lot of the entry level stuff, like I said earlier, like, it's baseline physiology. You have a body, you breathe. These are things you should be aware of. Like, this is it. Like, you've got that body for life. These are things you should know about. Tangential question. So as we were chatting about before we hopped online, COVID has been strange to a lot of us. What's one life kind of lesson takeaway? What has COVID either done for you lifestyle wise, or changed, or improved? What's something that's last year and a half life lesson from Augusto Vega? Deep, man. Make it deep and meaningful, bro. This is your chance.
Oh, what to say? Like, well, I teach a lot about presence, and dealing with each moment at a time. So last year I arrived to Bali in March, and I had this epic year laid ahead. I was going to go and do a little bit of work in Fiji, then go to Zumba, come to Bali for a short visit and some courses. And suddenly, like, lockdown happened, and I see, oh, you cannot fly through Australia anymore. Okay, so Fiji, I guess, is not happening. And then the place I'm supposed to go to in Zumba goes into like, they're like, bro, you cannot come, and I'm like, I know Bali, I know people in Bali, but I don't live in Bali. And to be honest, I had very little savings. So I'm like, oh shit, here we go, like, how am I gonna pull this off? Yeah. I was getting so anxious, and overthinking a lot, like, how it's gonna happen. I would sneak into, because beaches got locked, but you know, like we would still sneak out and surf, and I'll like feel better, and I'll get on my bike and I'll start driving home, and then the anxiety just starts creeping into me, you know, and I'm like, bro, like you teach this stuff, you know, you're like, first of all, don't anticipate,
Yeah.
shake this anxiety off because it's not going to work for you. And I'm like, yeah, anxiety, get off me, you know, and I'll speed up the scooter a little more and let the wind blow the anxiety away. I'll visualize that. And I'm like, okay, I'm chill. And I decided,
I am chill.
and I decided to take 1 week at a time. You know, I'm like, you know what? It's all about getting to the next week.
Yeah.
And here we are, almost 2 years later. You know, like getting to the next week.
Man, I was telling you, I went and looked at a new place to live this morning, and I told the guy, I was like, fuck, dude, I can't plan my life more than like 2 or 3 weeks ahead at the moment, so I'm just giving up. Like, like you just have to roll with whatever life punches at the moment throw your way, and yeah, so
Yeah, and learn to enjoy every day. You know, like there's beauty, there's a learning thing on if you
there's
allow
a lot
yourself
of
to
beauty
see it.
on the
You know,
book it. Like you're living in a pretty damn good place to find some beauty in nature, like as far as that goes, for sure.
no, to be honest, it's been 17, 18 years as a nomad. So suddenly realizing, hey, I have a home and I can live
Yeah.
here and I have friends and a community. Suddenly it's like that. To be honest, has been the best thing I'm taking from all these things. You know.
Well done, man. You deserve it. I will see you in Bali at some point next year for sure. Last question, just out of personal jealousy. Have you done any men's trips over COVID?
The realistic thing is I would have loved to. It was an amazing time to be there, but I had to really focus on work and, you know, like get into the next week. So,
Yeah.
so sadly I didn't. On the other hand, I reconnected with a lot of breaks I hadn't surfed before, like for years, because they were so crowded, like Ulus,
Yeah.
or scored amazing sessions at Sanu Reef. Discovered a lot of amazing spearfishing spots that I had been wanting to explore for years, and now I had the time, you know. So yeah, it's been epic.
Good for you, man. Well deserved. Again, I do look forward to meeting up once I'm back in Indo at some point next year. Again, for anybody that watched, thank you. Hit a Gusto up for some training. Again, I've said this before. You can check out the Survival Apnea app in my Surf Athlete app. Dude, thanks, bro. It's been a good chat. Take care of yourself in Bali. Enjoy it. Once it opens, man, it's going to get so damn busy again. I can't wait to ruin your Ulu surfs.
Bro, pleasure as always. Talk to you soon.
All right, dude. Cheers, man. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you've got questions, post them. This video will go up somewhere. I'll figure out how to do some tech stuff. And if you want anybody else to do lives with, let me know. Post something. Tell them that you want me to do a live with them. I'll see if we can start doing more of these. Now, I think I just hang up now. I don't know. All right. Cool.
See you, bro.
Later, bro.